Hello. Ah, se cortó la llamada. And welcome to You Have a Collect Call From. We're currently waiting for Silas to call us.
This call is
This
now
is
being
Global
recorded.
Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Hello,
Hello?
Silas. Oh, so
What's going on, Josh?
I guess how's it going? The call got disconnected. We are currently live, and I want to go ahead and thank you for giving us a call this late. It's 11:06 at night right now, so I'm not sure how early you normally go to sleep, but just want to go ahead and thank you, and for giving us a call this late in the night.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. So do you have anything going on for tomorrow?
Uh, just a lot of homework tomorrow. A lot of homework. I got to get a couple of papers done for class on Tuesday. But besides that, a little college football. My team is playing. Penn State is playing in the morning. We got the Buckeyes. So hopefully we get a win tomorrow. But yeah, just besides watching football in the morning, just a lot of homework tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Well, we were conversating yesterday, and I was asking you questions, and with I had a total of about I think like 12 or 13 questions, and I was only able to get through three of them because we were getting a lot of feedback from the chat, and they were asking a lot of questions. So I mean, it's good. I mean that people are
Right,
interacting.
right,
But hopefully,
right,
we're
right.
we're able to get through the rest of these questions I got here for you. And you know what?
Okay.
I wanted to ask you something before I start off on these questions. Do you have any stories while incarcerated that maybe do you have like a funny story you could think about that you could think about and it was funny for whatever reason?
Wow. Right. Funny story. A few funny stories, man. Um, let's see.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Or if nothing comes to mind right now, then we
Uh,
could go ahead and we could I could just start it with the other questions that I have written down for you here, and then we could get back to
okay,
that.
yeah,
Okay, all right, perfect. Yeah, yeah. Because
yeah. I'll get back to you. Let me spin my wheels.
all
I
right,
want
all
to
right. Yeah,
dig
I
into
don't.
my mental Rolodex and come up with a good one.
Yeah, all right, all right. So question four I got for you to tonight would be if you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would that be?
I like to play the guitar. I always thought that was real cool. Everybody that was able to that had the musical gift to be able to play guitar. I always wanted to learn. Um, yeah, I always thought that'd really be cool, man. I mean, I love music. I write music. So, I mean, I definitely would love to just be just not just able to play, but I'm talking about like a savant, like Eddie Vedder type savant, or Kurt Cobain or Hendrix, like play with your eyes closed and the lights out type. You know, I'd love to be able to play the guitar.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is definitely a good one. For me, you know what? It would be the piano, man. The piano's it's cool. the cool. Like I see these YouTube videos and whatnot, and these people playing the piano, and man, like I wish I had long fingers and I knew how to play the piano.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, me too. I got like short, fat fingers, man. So I don't know how that would work, on the chords, man. When I've been thinking about picking it up in here. So one of my buddies in my cohort, he plays like, I mean, he is just ridiculous. My buddy Swan, and I was thinking about getting with him and trying to learn, but I don't know. I got it. It doesn't seem like there's enough hours in the day sometimes, so we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I have LA analyst in here, and they're saying hi, and then they actually got they got some questions for you too. Um,
Okay, hey, what's up, LA Anos?
I think they're a day one supporter right there.
Man, that's outstanding. Thank you for supporting.
Yeah, yeah. My hats off to LA analyst. Everybody else, we only got three people in here today. I'm guessing everybody might be either sleeping, working, or maybe they're out, having fun tonight.
It's 11:11. It might be night capping it up.
Yeah, yeah. And LA analyst is asking, what does the teardrop tattoo really mean? I'm guessing they're asking about when you get a teardrop under your eye.
Yeah, it's supposed to mean that it's supposed to symbolize a body. So if it's supposed to symbolize the individual who's tattooed, their murder victim. So if you see one, two, and et cetera, that's that's what it's supposed to mean. But I mean, you had a lot of people out there who have tattooed teardrops, and they don't have any violence to back it up. I mean, which is a good thing. I mean, but yeah, that's what it's supposed to symbolize. But now it's just pop culture now. It's just people just do it just to look tough now.
You know, right now that they asked that question about tattoos, I wanted to ask you one myself. Is it a common
Okay.
thing now for younger guys to just have like neck tattoos, like they cover up their whole neck and not like even work on their chest or whatever?
I've seen a lot of the youngsters in here. I've seen them just tattooed everywhere, just face, sleeve, neck, chest. Um, and it's kind of odd to me. I see a lot of people that come in here with tattoos, and when I first came into the system, I didn't have any gang tattoos. I had like a name on my chest, and but that was the only tattoo that I had. And I mean, I've since got a little bit of work done in here, but the gang tattoos that I have are, you couldn't get gang tattoos in here in prison unless you earn them. And by earn them, what I mean is by putting in work, by assaulting someone, by stabbing someone. So yeah, now kids just come in here and they just get tattooed, and it's kind of strange to me because that was usually like to show like that your work, and it showed that that you put in work in here. And now it's just like everybody has tattoos. Even the cops in here has everybody's sleeve down and just tattoos everywhere. You know, art. Ink used to be like counterculture and like a form of rebellion, and now it's just commercial.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, because it just seems like everybody has tattoos nowadays, and they don't even look like if they've been through anything. It looks like they just walked out of a H&M magazine.
Yeah, they got studio art,
Yeah.
studio tattoo.
Right now that you mentioned that you did that you had some gang tattoos, Does the CDC offer any type of program for people that are gonna be paroling soon, where you could get the tattoos removed before you actually come home?
Yeah, actually they do. You have to be within, I think within 2 years, and I actually have a form right in my folder that I've already filled out to turn in. Um, yeah, to get uh, one tattoo removed. But yeah, they approve it. They you send it to the institutional security unit, and then they look at it to see if it's on file. Because every place you go when you go to prisons, squad takes pictures of of your tattoos. So they'll look at it, review it, and they'll give you a yes or no. But it's totally free. Actually, a buddy of mine, he's in class with me, Dylan. He's getting some work removed from I think it's his neck and a couple other places, and he has like 3 more treatments to go. He's already done the first one, so yeah, they do have that. That's like it's fairly new. In fact, the notification on the tablet is probably like maybe 2 months old, not if that. I mean, it's really new.
That's pretty cool that they're doing that before you get out. Kind of like you get a fresh start, and you don't have to worry about being labeled or identified with something that you no longer associate anymore.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. I mean, you want when you leave out of this environment, you it's just like a metaphorical rebirth, and you want to be able to begin again as clean as you can. So I definitely think it's positive, and I applaud whoever instituted it. I don't know who the architect or author of the policy is or who's paying for it, but I mean, man, they're doing they're really doing a good thing.
And then I have another question. I think it might be kind of dumb, but I am curious.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
You that you're well, obviously you're black. Or what do you like to be referred to as, black, African American, or what label do you like to be referred as far as like your
Black,
black? Okay,
black,
all right,
black or African, black or
African.
African. I don't identify as African American. American is not an ethnicity.
Yeah.
My ancestors are descendants of Africa, so I'm an African
Okay.
by bloodline.
All right, got that. So we'll go with black then right now, just to keep it make it easy for me here. Um, so
Right, right.
so if you do go you undergo the laser removal of the tattoo, does it would your is your skin still going to be the same, or would it how does it look like the process for, because I've seen it on like buddies of mine that have gotten tattoos, but they're lighter, either they're white skinned or brown. So in your case, you're a little bit you're
It looks,
darker.
yeah, it looks like on my classmate Dylan, it looks like it's gonna be lighter. Just from the first treatment, I'm looking like around the lines of the tattoo,
Yeah.
and because it's a word, and it seems like it's gonna be lighter. So I mean, if that is the case, I would just get something, just get some work over it, so
Mm.
that wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like I'm gonna go nuts anyway when I come home. I'm I'm getting my arms, my chest, everything done. Not my neck or my face.
Okay. Yeah, like all that putting crosses in your face doesn't look good.
No, 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 no. I can't do that.
All right, all right. So I'll go ahead and continue with these questions I got over here for you. So
Okay.
this would be question number 5. And what do you value most in a friendship?
Um, Loyalty. Someone, someone who you can confide in, and someone who is obviously steadfast in their support of you, and someone who's not gonna gonna patronize you, someone who's not gonna humor any of your bullshit. Like I want somebody who's gonna tell me the truth, even if I don't like it. You know, I may be agitated with you in the moment for telling me a truth that's not convenient for me.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
You know, that's what a real friend does. Like if you see me, about to make a bullshit decision, then then tell me, and if I'm mad, I can come back when I'm not mad anymore, you know. And someone that's trustworthy and someone that's understanding and has my best interest at heart. I think those are the most important qualities of a friend.
Yeah, and you also don't want somebody that's going to shoot you down when you have good ideas. You get there. Everybody has this
Right.
one friend that you tell them some idea, and they're like, "Nah, what? You want to do that? Nah, it's not gonna work." So you always want somebody, when you throw an idea out there that they're gonna, if it's a good idea, that they should, they should push you forward and encourage you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And somebody that's encouraging is definitely, yeah, I mean, man, that's key.
Yeah, like for this YouTube thing, my wife, when I told her about it, she encouraged me. The call went ahead and got cut off, and he should be calling us shortly. And if you're just joining and you didn't catch yesterday's, I would say it's part one. We were gonna do something a little bit different, where I wanted to ask him some questions, typically that you wouldn't ask somebody that's in prison. Just wanted to get to get to know him in a different level and kind of see where his head is at. And he's calling us back.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tellink. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Yeah. So what I was saying before the call got cut off. So yeah, when I mentioned to my wife that I wanted to do something like this, she said, go for it. You should do it. So it's really it's important, to have somebody like that on your side that's going to encourage you, when you have an idea and you want to try it out. And if they see that potential, then they should definitely support you.
Yeah, that is important. That is important. You have you have an example, the truest example of a friend. Like in your wife. Like that's definitely what you need. You need someone who's gonna be a nurturer and a supporter of any idea that you have, because who knows, like, where you can go with. And I mean, a little bit of dissuasion or negativity could be the difference between you actually having the courage to implement that idea or just say, hey, maybe it's not a good idea.
Yeah. Now, if I was telling her, hey, I want to go hit, go stick up the local 7-Eleven or the AM/PM, then yeah, I definitely wouldn't
Right.
want her to encourage that. Yeah.
No, no. We ain't knocking over any Circle K's or anything like that. They don't even have Circle K's out there anymore.
You know what? There's a lot more now. Yeah, they're springing up all over the place. Yeah,
Wow, that's
yep.
crazy.
They're all over the place. Yeah, 76 Circle K. Yep. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and then right now when the call got cut off, I went ahead and mentioned to the audience, because we do have, I think, five listeners right now. We're kind of explaining to them that we were gonna do something different today. It was pretty much we were continuing from yesterday. Yesterday, I started off reading these questions. We only got through three, and we're continuing with the rest right now. So it's kind of like, I would say it would be different, than what we normally speak about. Just to get you, get to know you on a different level, if you will.
Right, right, absolutely. I'm an open book, so fire away.
All right, all right, I could do that. So we're gonna be at this would be question number 6. Uh, what's your most terrible memory?
Wow, my most terrible memory is calling my brother and finding out having him tell me that my dad had died. That's the absolute worst memory of my life. Yeah, it's not even close. I don't even know what number two is compared to that. Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, that's a tough one when when you have a family member pass away. That's like if you haven't gone through it, you can't you can't understand it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, it's like prison. I mean, you can explain like the dynamics of prison to someone, to a novice, but unless you've actually been here and experienced like what this environment is, there's just no way to quantify all of the just the variables and the madness that this place is, And like you said, grief is just it's the same thing. Like grief is like it's like a snowflake. Like it's there are no two that are the same. So yeah, it's rough.
right now that you mentioned, they're trying to explain prison to somebody that's never been there before. Have you ever seen that show, 60 Days In?
I have they show it. We have this digital channel over the air, Court TV, and
Uh-huh.
they used to show it on there. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, I've never actually seen them. I've seen Arizona. I've seen it in Atlanta jail, different places, but I've never seen it out here. Like I doubt that the LA Sheriff's Department would be open to something like that.
You know what? And then even if they were, I just don't think that it would work within the inmates. That would just be that would be a horrible, horrible. They would probably have their first stabbing on that show if they haven't had one
I
yet
mean,
before. I guarantee it that would happen, and I'm pretty sure it would happen more than once.
yeah, I can't imagine what would transpire if someone is in there working for the cops and they get busted.
You know what? The only way I see
Yeah,
that working is if they have actors. That's the only way. If it's real inmates that are facing some time, yeah, that's not definitely not gonna work.
yeah. Nah, that's not gonna be good TV. Well, depending on what your definition of good TV is.
And then
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
there was this other YouTuber that actually I haven't seen the show, but I saw him talking about it, where he actually was a participant in the show,
Wow,
and he
really?
was talking about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He has a YouTube channel. He's a black gentleman. He goes by the name of Dirty Weather 916, and I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I know he's been on YouTube for a while, and
Hmm.
he was on somebody else's podcast, and he was talking about. Well, he couldn't really give too many details about the show because some of the episodes hadn't been released yet at this time. I'm pretty sure they're all out now, but
Right.
I don't know. Like, would you like, let's say you once you come home, would you want to participate in something like that?
Uh, no, only I'd be interested like from a sociological or psychological experiment going in like in another state, but like and just immersing myself in the culture of that county or state or whatever. That would be really interesting. I'd be up for that. What I wouldn't be up for is being an agent of the state like these people are, going in there and talking about stuff, that inner workings and crime and all of that stuff. Like, I mean, make no mistake. I mean, I've gotten my life together and, I've walked away from crime, but I ain't a cop. They have people who are paid. They have law enforcement who are paid for that. And they're compensated. And yeah, I'm not. You know, I just and it has nothing to do with any criminal thinking. For me, it's just that like, I mean, for me coming into prison, like, you know, I was the sole, participant in my case, and I'm serving time for it, and actions have consequences, but I think that what I wouldn't do is you know do something and I get in trouble, and now I have some information about someone else, and now like I'm trying to get myself out of trouble by narking on somebody else. That's just to me. I mean, I'm in here in the self help community. Like they say that that's criminal thinking if you won't inform on somebody. But to me, that's just cowardice, and I'm just talking about manhood. Like part of being a man is taking ownership of the decisions that you make and being accountable, and I can only be accountable for my own inventory. What someone else has done is not my affair. I'm walking my path, and everybody has to walk theirs.
Yeah, on that one there, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, all that. If you're gonna, do something and be an active participant, and then and you do this with somebody else, and you guys both get caught, and then you try to put it on the other person, or let's say you get away, and then you get caught, and then you give up, some information on this other crime that information on, just get yourself out. That's not cool, right there. Because I mean, you knew, like you said, you knew the job was dangerous, so like, you know, take
Right.
your time.
Now make no mistake. Like you have a lot of people in here that don't know the difference. The example we just gave is one thing. That's like, if you're in the life or you're part of a criminal enterprise or any sort. Now you have people in here who think that if they shot somebody in front of some lady walking out of a clothing store, that and she testified against him that she ratted on him. This is a everyday working class citizen. This person is not informing on you. She's doing her civic duty. There's a difference between someone who is mainstream and not a criminal, and a victim of crime, as opposed to, you know, people that have conspired together and went and broke the law, and now it goes bad, and now everybody's pointing fingers. There's a difference.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, you can, yeah. If somebody's walking their dog and they see you committing a crime, and yeah, and they testify against you, or they provide information to the police, yeah, that's totally different, because that's what they're supposed to do. A good citizen. But if you're participating yeah, no, yeah, yeah. If you can't tell the difference between that, then good luck to you, because I think it's pretty cut and dry on that. It's black and white. You can't confuse the two.
Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all.
And we have a comment from James Johnson. He put great content. Thank you, James. I really appreciate that. And you guys are definitely helping getting this content out and into the algorithm. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
be I don't want to be like the mother, because I mean, I know I'm or this channel is it's pretty much just wrapped up with all the other um YouTube prison channels, if you will, for lack of a better word. And I want to bring something else, something different to the table, not the same old story and the drama. Just want to get real stories, and the consequences to everybody's actions, that ending up in prison.
yeah. I think that's a good point. And I mean, what you've created is virtually a think tank. For 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 not just individuals in here, but people in society. And I've heard a little bit about other channels and the things that the content obviously on there, I mean, everyone has a story, and I think the stories are. I mean, as a writer, I'm a little biased, but I believe the stories are what makes life worth living. Our individual stories, like, but I think it's doing it does a disservice to the public and to kids out there and to people who are just who are lost, emotionally.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
To portray this life in a light that is glamorous or or complimentary, because that's just not the case. I mean, people in here don't want to be in here. I don't want to be in here, and this is not. This is it's a positive environment because because of the people that work to make it a positive environment. But by and large, this is where dreams come to die. Unless you're strong enough to overcome this environment. So there's nothing cool about committing violence on another person or hurting someone by selling dope to them or there's nothing
You have 60 seconds remaining.
about being in prison. The only glamorous thing about being in prison is walking out of prison.
Yeah, no, man, I'm sure it's gonna be the greatest feeling. I know when I got out of my camp programs, man, it was the best feeling walking out of there. When they're having your clothes back and you're putting on some old stinky clothes that's been in a paper bag for the last 6 months to a year.
Yeah. Yo, I was telling Jesse the other day. Jesse and I were talking in
Hmm.
prison fellowship, and I was telling him that as as tough of a veneer as I have, like when I get out of here, when I step 2 feet out of this place, like I think I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah, I mean, you've been living in that place so long. Uh, all right, the call went ahead and got cut off. He should be calling us back shortly, and that's the cool thing about them having these GTL tablets is that they could pretty much make calls whenever they want. So we get unrestricted access to these gentlemen, which I find pretty cool because then we're able to stream in the middle of the night, and it shouldn't be much longer before it calls. There it is.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
So I want to read out another comment from James Johnson, and he put, "That's my big cousin."
Yeah, that's my dad's twin sister's youngest son. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
that's more like my brother than my cousin. That's yeah, I love him. That's my family right there.
Yeah, family is definitely
Love you, cousin.
really nice to have on your corner, and it's really nice too for me because your family members are the ones actually putting this content out and spreading it to other people they know. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Right now, have you been in prison longer than you were a free man at this point?
I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. I was 23. I just turned 23. I've been 23 probably like a couple of months when I was arrested. So I'll be 46 next month, and I'll make 23 years February 23rd. So at that point, I'll have equal amount of time as I've been free in society as I have been in prison, which is crazy to even contemplate. But in February, I'll be like almost dead even.
Man, that's a long time, and I could think back where I was 23 years ago, and man, I'm 42 right now. I was probably coming home from my first camp or my second camp program, maybe first or second. What year did you, was it 98 that you went in?
No, February 23rd, 2001.
Oh, okay, so I was coming home from my probably like my third or fourth time hitting county jail.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah, that's no joke.
Yeah. And you know what? At that time, it didn't bother me.
No
I mean,
joke.
it was what it was. I knew what I signed up for. I wanted to be messing around, so that just came with the territory.
I was in there for a little over a year and a half, and by the time I got found guilty, I was like,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
get me on a bus to prison, get me the hell out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Uh,
LA County Jail is no place to be. It's not a nice place.
yeah. I mean, especially back then too, man. I used to take like 48 hours to get processed. People would be sleeping on the floor using. You would get lucky if you were able to get the toilet paper and use it as a pillow on the floor. It was just horrible.
Okay, now I got there like right at the end where, okay, remember back in the day where they give you a wristband,
Hmm.
but if you rip your wristband off, they call it jumping the line. So if they were trying to send you to wayside, you go down to the holding tank, you rip your wristband off,
Hmm.
and they have to reprocess you, and they send you back up to the cell where you left from. But when I got there, they just stopped doing that. So if you jumped the line and ripped your wristband off while you were down there, they would keep you down there overnight. You'd be in the holding tank with like 80 smelly people, like downtown gangsters, and then they process you and put you on the bus to wayside anyway.
Oh man, so you got a double whammy then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and remember those small holding cells? How many? You wouldn't even believe it was humanly possible to pack that many people in a small room like that.
I don't even think it was like 10 by 10. Maybe like 8 by 8.
No, no,
No,
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it that it was 10 by 10.
I think
I
it
don't
was
think
by
so.
eight, like a 8 by 8.
I mean, there were people just plastered against the window, just laid on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
floor, just everywhere.
You would be walking. You walk by, and it just seemed like every of those holding cells or whatever they would call them. They were just like a sea of people. You would just be walking by, and they would just row after row after row. It was just like a never-ending row of just people crammed into these small spaces, and they would just move you from one to another to another. It seems like it would never end.
I think that's if there is such thing as a hell. I think that's what hell is. Hell is a waiting room.
You know what? Right now that you mentioned that story about the wristband, it triggered a memory that I had. This one time I was up in Wayside Supermax. I think it was the
Okay.
first time that I think it might have been either the first or second time I went up there, and I had been messing with my wristband. So every day, I think they count you 3 times, and this day they were doing the evening count, and the deputy noticed that my wristband was tampered with. So they ended up taking me out of the unit, and then or the dorm, and then they ended up putting me like in the this waiting area where they had like these vending machines where you could buy where you could buy like snacks if you had one of those cards with cash on them. And
Right.
and when they pulled me out, I was looking over and I was like, oh shit, there's about to be a race riot. I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm not in. I'm glad I'm not there. I'm not in. I could see it. Everybody was divided up, and you could see, the groups talking amongst each other. I was like, oh man, it's about to go down, and I'm not in there. I'm like, oh, like dang, I was happy. I was like, man, I've never been in a riot. I I had never been in a riot, and I didn't want to be in a riot, to be quite honest with you. And I was just looking. I was like, oh man, you could see there was groups of people upstairs, upstairs, downstairs, and I was like, oh, this is about to go down, and I don't have to be part of it. I'm safe. Luckily I was messing with my wristband. Um, but then nothing ended up happening, which was even better. So by the time they got me situated with my wristband, everything had blown over, and it was all kumbaya. But that was a real nail biter for me there.
Yeah. I've fortunately well, in the county jail I've had camp. We had a riot in Buenos Aires. County jail, a couple of riots. I was in 36, 38, which was the state marshals back then. I heard they broke that whole thing up, but we had a couple of riots there. Um, in prison, I've been very fortunate actually. I've only one riot, and that was with the Northerners in Corcoran Shoe in '08, and it was on the group yard, and that was insane. That was insane. I mean, being under the gun like that, having like a tower cop right there with a Mini 14, I mean, right over you is kind of crazy. Like I can't even. It's a small space. Probably think maybe four garages. The space of four 2-car garages. Uh, Cemented all, and yeah, a shower, a sink, toilet, and yeah, it's. I mean, they just sprayed. They sprayed so much pepper spray, and they sprayed us with like a riot cannon, like they were shooting water out of a riot cannon, and like you had like the I guess I don't want to be derogatory and say what people call them, the flaps, like the little slip-on shoes that you wear,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
like the little karate shoes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I had those on, and that cannon was so strong that it just took the whole right shoe off off my foot.
Yeah.
Like I got shot with the block gun, shot in the leg with the block gun. And it was just, yeah, it's no fun. It's no fun, and these COs in here, they train like twice a month in here for situations like that. So they're just all too eager to exhibit their skills, everything that they've learned on the range, and yeah, it's not a good look. And I'm fortunate that I only had one time to participate in that.
And what when you get hit with one of those block guns, what kind of damage did it do to your leg? Or how long was it bruised up, or how bad is it?
Uh, I was kind of lucky because it ricocheted. Actually hit the wall before it hit me, so I was kind of fortunate. But when I was in Kern Valley, I've seen some. I had some bruising and swelling. It left a little circular mark and it was bruised, but yeah, I mean, it was fine in like 3 days. Um, I've seen. When I was in Kern Valley, there was a white guy. He got shot in the head with the block gun, and his brain had swollen. And they took him out to outside medical. And when we left and caught the chain to go back to go to Corcoran, and I mean, he had still not come back. So I never even found out what happened with him. But like his head was just swollen beyond just what was humanly possible when they took him out of there. and he got hit in the side of the head.
Man, that's
This
awful.
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And imagine you're there for
So
like
that
something
that
dumb.
that block gun is no joke.
Yeah, like imagine you're there for like
Say
something
again.
dumb. Like you're something like you're there for like DUI or shoplifting or just like a really dumb reason, and then you end up getting hit in the head with a block gun.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's happened. It's happened. It's
Yeah.
happened. People, and especially the county jail. People come there for you know, all kind of arbitrary reasons and end up in there, and then it's serious. I mean, just imagine, you know, getting knocked for a failure to appear, and you getting thrown in the cage with some dudes who all, for all intents and purposes, on their way to prison and
Hmm.
don't give a damn about anything, and it just happens.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Those court tanks are vicious.
I've had my fair share. Van Nuys Court, Van Nuys Court, three times, three separate. One in the Van Nuys holding in the county jail, the holding tank, and twice at Van Nuys Court in the holding tank. Yeah, I got jumped by four people in the Van Nuys holding tank in the county jail, and then they separated us. And then when we got there. Two of the people were upstairs at court, and I rushed the two of the people that jumped me.
Okay. Okay.
And then the day I got convicted, I came downstairs and it was already somebody that my former gang didn't get along with, and so one of my quote unquote enemies, and so I got convicted and got sentenced, and they had deliberated like 7 days, and I went up there, got found guilty, and came downstairs and took off my shirt and was like, "Get up, this is happening. Get up."
Me? Who? Me? Me? You're talking to the guy behind me, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it just shows. Just I mean, I can laugh about it now just because, and the reason why I can laugh about it now is just because of the absurdity of it all.
Yeah. You know what? Right now that you mentioned
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Corcoran shoe, were you there when the hunger strikes were happening?
I was there from April 2008 to June 2013, and I hunger struck twice. And I'll call you back, and I'll give you a little anecdote about CDCR, about how they handled things during that hunger strike.
Okay. All right. Cool. We'll be waiting for you. We got a few people in here. We got 10 people. 10 people listening in right now. So you know we're waiting. All right. So I did see your message, James Johnson. Yeah, 3 days and to get processed through county jail, man. That's horrible. And then Michael, I really appreciate it. You guys tuning in. Yeah, like I'm definitely trying to get out a different message. We're trying to carve out our own lane when it comes to this prison content. And there he is.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, Silas. So before you start right now, I just want to go ahead and your cousin put another message that it took him 3 days to get processed through county jail one time, and then we have another message from Michael Goward, and he's thanking us for the positive message, and also he's thanking you for the motivation.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening. No problem, man. We want to inspire here, and thank James, man. Thank James. I mean, he's the one that's made all of this possible, man. So, I mean, man, definitely this wouldn't be possible without him. So he's our window into the world. So, you know,
You
don't forget to tip your waiter.
you know what? Right now that you say that, I mean, it goes hand in hand. Like I could provide the platform, but ultimately, you guys are the ones with the stories. Um, but and I was thinking about this today while I was at work. So, my buddy right there, that's located right there with you guys, the one that made the introduction. Um,
Right.
like he was up in Pelican Bay and the mainland at this time, and this was right around. It was during the height of COVID, and he had got a level 3 override, and he was supposed to go to Lancaster GP. And right the day that he was supposed to move, they were testing individuals before they would move them to make sure that you weren't COVID positive. He got tested, and his test came up inconclusive. They couldn't figure out it was negative or positive. So with that, they didn't take him. They took his property. They didn't take him. He had to stay. And then they were gonna tell him they were telling him that he was gonna get moved like a week later, then a month later, and that move never happened. All right, so he remained on that yard, and,
Right.
and by the time at the end of the year came around, they wanted him to do a hit, and well, ultimately he refused. And I was thinking about the man. Just imagine if he would have two things could have happened. If his test would have not if his test would have been negative and he would have moved to Lancaster, then this would right what we're doing right now would have never happened. It would have just been an idea in my head. So
Wow. That's
him,
crazy to think
yeah,
about.
yeah. So
Yeah, it's funny how things line up. Oh snap. Okay. You are okay. Are you up on the 12 o'clock like the reset for the tablets?
oh no, I'm not. So it cuts off at midnight to like what update
Right. It
or like
cuts off, but
okay.
it reboots. It reboots like all of the minutes in there, so it takes like 1 or 2 minutes for us to be able to log back in.
Okay.
After it does its little, it has to like restart. So it usually cuts off at like 11:59,
Okay.
it's a little notification that just came on and said you will be logged out in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So it's gonna turn off, and I'm gonna have to log back in, or give it some time to restart, and then log back in and give you a call back.
Okay. I'll try to keep him entertained while we wait for you to call us back.
So let me find out you were playing the piano, man.
Shit, man, I'll put a YouTube video and act like I'm playing the piano right now.
Man,
Yeah,
yeah. So
maybe I can learn. I'll
yes.
learn. There's an app.
No, I've seen something. What is it? Like masterclass?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, there you go.
Actually, I got an app on my iPad, and I attempted to start playing the piano, but I didn't um, I didn't get that far.
Well, when I come home, I'm
All right, so there it cut him off. It's 11:59. He should be calling us back shortly, and thank you. I appreciate that, Michael. Um, yeah, so like I just had a vision about this, and like I was stating earlier on, my buddy that made the introduction, he was set. He had a he was a level 4 uh, inmate, and he had an override, and he was supposed to go over to Lancaster, and obviously that didn't happen. He ended up in Centinela D yard. He's been over there about I think he's about to hit 2 years in February that he went over there, And I remember the day that he called me. He called me one day and he was like, "Hey, um, they."
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He called me up and he was like, "Hey, they want me to do a hit." And then I was thinking, the first thing I was thinking, I was like, "Don't the cops listen to these calls?" But I didn't say anything. And then he said, "But I refused." And then the first thing that popped into my mind, I was like, "Oh no, he refused." I was like, they're gonna hit him. He's gonna get got. Luckily, nothing happened to him, or he moved before they could move on him. And I think for him that was probably like one of the biggest or the hardest things that he did was walk away. And he called me maybe like I would say maybe like 2 3 weeks later. And he told me that that was it, he was done, that he was gonna do it right after I think right after New Year's. And yeah, sure enough, New Year's came, and that was it. He called me when they moved him over, when he was up in he was up in ADSEG. And I had been trying to get visits with him, video visits, but they wouldn't approve me. Like every time that I would submit the form, it was always something that they would deny me. So what I ended up doing was I told my wife, I was like, look, um, they keep on denying me. I was like, why don't you apply, and then you get approved, and then I'll set up the video visit for him. And then just when the cop gets on the screen, and he comes in, then you could just stay right there in front of the computer, and then I'll just talk to him. And then so yeah, that's what we did. And he was already in AdTech when he had that visit. And I know that that visit meant a lot to him, especially because where he was at. And I'm pretty sure he was going through it mentally, um with the decision he made. And they moved him pretty quick. He started the process like in January, and I think by March he was in Centinela. And he hadn't seen the sky or the nighttime in years. And he was telling me how different Centinela was than Pelican Bay. And I'm pretty sure at the beginning it took him a long time to get acclimated to that place, because people program different than what he was used to, or the way he's been programmed. I remember he one of the first phone calls he gave me, he was telling me that he cleaned his whole cell. That he moved, the first cell he moved into was a mess. There was all kinds of stuff on the wall. And being in these places, they condition you, um, to be like super super clean. So he said he cleaned his whole room, his whole cell, top to bottom. Took everything off the wall, cleaned the floors, and then they ended up moving them over to another cell. And he did the same thing to the next cell. But yeah, so hopefully he calls us back soon. I'm not prior to this, I wasn't comfortable doing any type of public speaking. I've never been comfortable doing it. But with doing this, it's getting me out of my comfort zone. And I feel like every day that passes that I do this, it's getting easier to speak, and put out my thoughts, and ask questions. I've never like interviewed people before this. Um, my buddy over there that made the introduction, I told him, I was like, hey, look, this is what I want to do, and check if you could, if you could find anybody that's interested in participating in something like this. And this was back in, I think maybe like our last video visit, because they discontinued video visits. Finally I was approved, and once I was approved, I was anytime that I could get a video visit, I would jump on, and would be talking. And on the last video visit that we had, which is when the CDCR discontinued the video visits, I had mentioned to him, I was like, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I was like, check if you could get anybody that would be interested in participating in something like this. And then like 2 months passed, I didn't hear nothing. And then finally he hit me up. He was like, hey, uh, I got somebody that's interested. He gave me the gentleman's information, and then I ended up reaching out to him, and pretty much the rest is history. The gentleman that reached out to me was Richard Martinez, which is the first interview. If you go back to the history, you'll find them. And after that, it just seemed like a lot of people, they want to share their stories. They have a lot to say, and for the last month, this is what I've been doing, like nonstop, day after day. Originally, I was doing a lot of pre-recorded content, but it was taking a lot of time. Me editing the recordings, adjusting the volume and whatnot. It was just taking up a lot of my time. So, after doing that for a few weeks, I was like, man, I should just do them live. Like all this editing and everything is just really cutting into, not only, the time that I take to do the recordings, and then I still have to sit down and edit all these recordings, because I would sit on the phone for hours. Sometimes 2 hours with one person, and then I would do like an hour or two with somebody else, and for a few days, and then I would have to sit there and edit out these videos. I think I just finished editing my last interview that I did with Ricky Black, and I had been sitting on that maybe over 2, maybe 3 weeks, and I just uploaded his last episode sometime, I think this last week that just passed, or a few days ago. So I rather prefer doing these lives, not only because it cuts down on the time that it takes me to edit, which it cuts it out completely. I don't have to edit anything.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It makes it interactive, where if you have a question, you just type it up, and then I could just read it off, and you could get your answer right then and there. And not only that, if you do have the option,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
you do. How do we have 60 seconds remaining? There's nobody here. It's just me. So I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Okay. So sorry. So back to the live stream. So a cool thing is, like I said, like I was saying, if you have a question, then you could ask, right here, live, and I could read up the questions. Or you always have the option of actually, downloading the GTL Getting Out app, and reaching out to the individuals directly, and asking them, and they'll get back to you. So it's that makes it even more personal. Just because sometimes you might not want to ask a question, and oh, hold on, Saved by the Bell.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, Silas.
Hello. Phew, that
Man,
wow.
I don't know what I was talking about,
So,
but I just had to keep on going.
so this is the first time that this has ever happened. So when you log back in, it does all the prompts, and so every time I tried to put my PID number into call, it kept saying that you have a call already in progress.
Oh yeah,
It's never done that before.
you know what? Because I didn't hang up the call. I di- I didn't. I was still on the call.
Oh,
Like I didn't. I thought when you hung up, or actually you didn't hang up. It cut you off. So it just cut you off, but the call kept on going, and then it said you have 60 seconds, like a little while ago, and I was like, "What the? Hell? Like, what do you mean? I got? I'm not talking to nobody. I'm talking to myself over here."
okay. I don't know. I was getting, yeah, it was kind of spooky. It's October, man.
Yeah,
It was kind of eerie for me.
yeah,
And
no,
then
that's what it
then I
is.
was thinking about about the hunger strike and everything, and I was like, yeah, gave a little preview for what I was about to say about CDCR, and I'm like, okay, yeah, Big Brother's watching. They shut us
Shit.
down.
Nah, it's not
They
that.
cut the feed.
Yeah, no.
yeah.
But yeah, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and let you handle that because man, I'll start talking about something else, and if we're gonna leave everybody over here in a cliffhanger, what they're gonna be thinking about. Well, he was gonna say something about the hunger strikes, and he never got around to it,
Right.
or James never brought it up
Right.
again.
Okay. Well, just for those of you that aren't aware, the hunger strike was instituted in Pelican Bay in the short corridor, and it was necessary because CDCR and the institutional security and IGI, the gang units, were basically going around and getting people off of the main lines and putting them back in the shoe and ass egg without zero evidence of them being active gang members or committing violent crimes, violent offenses in prison. They were labeling people associates of prison gangs, associates of, so this could be if you got a note or a kite from somebody, or if your name came up while somebody was writing a letter, like they would use it in a point system. And so if you got 3 points, you got validated. And once you got validated, you were shut into ASEG or the shoe, and you were just there. I mean, I've known people who were in the shoe. My neighbor was in the shoe for 23 years. Um, so, and after every 5 years, they did what they call an inactive status, to where if you weren't getting into any trouble, but what they were doing was using confidential informants or ghost confidential informants, because you would be close to your 5 year inactive status where you could get kicked back to the line. But they would say, well, we got a kite. Somebody dropped a kite on you. So we're going to keep you back here for another 5 years. And they would just do that indefinitely. It was just one big shell game. It was a scam to hold people in solitary confinement. And so the short corridor, like the black, brown, white residents up there, they got together and they workshopped, and they got with attorneys in society, and they put together a lawsuit. And so part of the problem with the validation process was that CDCR was using the violence in prison as a justification for shuttering people away for decades and decades in solitary confinement. And so a plan was put together for peaceful protest and resolution, and the hunger strike was instituted in Pelican Bay and Tehachapi Shoe and in the mainline general population yards and in Corcoran Shoe, where I was in 2011ish, 20, and so when all of us got word down there, it was every active, whether you were white, black, brown, Asian, it didn't matter. Um, people participated. And so in corporate shoe they have what you call a mouse hole, which is a square about uh, maybe one half the size of a Rubik's cube. So, and we do what we call fish through there, and you fish. You know, we have to roll up things like if you wanted food like soups or anything, or chips or cookies or whatever. You roll it up in the newspaper like the long way and tie it on both ends, and then you tie it onto a line and fish. Well, there were a couple of people that had diabetes in corporate shoe, and that obviously for health reasons they didn't hunger strike. Well, what we did was sent food down to those cells, and they would come and weigh us. We refused the food, we refused the trays. They would come weigh us, and some of us had personal canteen during the first round of hunger strikes. So they would come in and see our cells and see that we had canteen. And so the second time that it lasted for, I guess, a week and a half. The second time, the COs actually were instructed to go into our cells and take our personal food. So the intent was, if you guys are going to hunger strike, then we're really going to starve you. They took our personal canteen, tagged it, bagged it, and put it in a closet, and gave all of us basically 128 chronos for participating in a mass protest. But that just seeing that after being back there for like 3 years, seeing that like how vindictive the administration was and the correctional officers in general, to see that that we were protesting something that was unjust and we were doing it in a nonviolent manner, but to see them be vindictive and to say, okay, well, if you want to portray yourself starving, we're going to make sure you starve. And so after that, we would send our food down to a couple of the brothers, a couple of the brown brothers that were down the tier, and fish our food down there, and we would get rations, literally just get rations throughout the day. Breakfast time, I'd throw my line down there and I'd get my breakfast, whether it be like a top ramen or or some snacks out of the lunch that he collected. I mean, we were even down to, I don't know if anybody, if I mean, obviously they have it in society. There's a paste that they give diabetics, to moderate, their sugar level. Well, he would shoot us that. Just because, after a while,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
so yeah, there were two rounds of hunger strikes. People eventually started refusing cellmates, and so there were people who were locking the cellmates out. There were people who were just refusing people, and yeah, all of it, along with the lawsuit and the manpower of everyone peacefully protesting, led to the settlement, which got all of those brothers out of the shoe that were indeterminate eventually kicked back out to the yards, and got us some more concessions that made prison in here, a conducive environment, as far as your mental health, as far as education opportunities and self-help opportunities. So, yeah, I definitely, we, all of us in here owe a great debt to the attorneys out there who worked with the brothers in the short corridor and everybody that stood in solidarity. I took political science at Imperial Valley College, and my professor is Tomas. He was Tomas Oliva. Well, he still is, but he was city councilman for El Central, and he was the mayor. I think he's like a district manager right now. So during his class, he talked about black and brown and poor whites, and he referred to us all as, in a political sense, as sleeping giants. And back in corporate shoe, I had the opportunity, during probably one of the worst experiences in my life, to see what we can be when we come together for one common goal. and all of us back there in a horrible condition. Like the unity that was displayed back there is probably one of the most moving and beautiful things that I've ever witnessed in my whole life. And I just want to try and foster that, in fellowship and with the brothers here, not only here that I'm with on the yard, but in society. Like we can we can truly be more than what we're settling for, and more than what we are. And yeah, so that's my little tidbit about the hunger strike in Corcoran Shoe.
Thank you for sharing that. Right now, so on the comments we have Michael once again. Have you ever heard of Sergeant Sanford?
Sergeant who?
Sanford, Stanford. So Michael, Michael,
Sanford? Is he a white?
well, I'm not
Is he
sure.
a white guy?
He put
Sanford.
so Michael
Sanford.
Michael put on here. I watched Sergeant Sanford get taken away in cuffs, and then he puts right below that. He puts for punching a guy for no shirt tucked in.
Wow.
So I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, that's not surprising. That's not surprising. But I mean, the irony is they I don't know if any everybody knows they just installed a whole bunch of cameras in here. I mean, there are cameras everywhere in here now, but they're not on. And the irony is that even when they go online, there are going to be a lot of these cops that are getting walked off the yard
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
because they're so conditioned to operating with impunity. They're so used to getting away with everything that it's going to take it's 5 or 6 of them to get caught on camera doing something before they realize, oh, we can't do that anymore. The way that we do business is done. Yeah, I mean, and there have been a slew of old heads, COs who have actually retired because they don't want to work here with the cameras here. So yeah, like go figure, huh? Law enforcement official who's opposed to a little bit of oversight.
Yeah. No. Accountability. What's that?
Yeah, right.
And then Michael just put on in here. This happened in Tehachapi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not surprising. That's not surprising. I mean, they're. I've had an adversarial, attitude towards law enforcement my whole life. I've always been distrustful of law enforcement. I mean, but now my attitude has changed a little bit because I do understand that as much as I despise the hypocrisy and the the power thrust in and the corruption that's brought in law enforcement, I do understand that there are some people where this is just a job. I've run across hundreds of correctional officers over my couple of decades in prison to where they're not here to bust people or to make anybody's life more difficult in here. They understand that that we're being punished by being here. It's not and they're not here to be punitive. They're here to make their living, and granted they do their job. And so my attitude has changed a little bit as far as correctional officers. I mean, I think the law is for everybody. It's for all of us, and my only problem is when the law is applied to different ethnicities or different classes in different ways. I mean, if the rules are for us,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
for the COs, they're for they're for the rich. They're for everybody, and they should be applied equally across the spectrum.
That would definitely be nice. I would like that myself.
What a world that would be, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Equal rights for everybody. That's what I'm talking about right there. And then Michael did confirm that he was a white guy.
Yeah,
That
okay.
sergeant, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that name, Sanford. I do remember that name, and I did a little time in Taxi Shoe actually.
Were you aware that they got supposedly they got rid of all the shoe programs? Nobody's going to the shoe anymore.
Yeah, we actually have it on our tablet. The only thing, the
All right, the call just cut off. He should be calling us back shortly. And once again, I want to go ahead and thank all of you, for being in here. Lisa, I'll let Silas know that you're listening right now. Your message didn't go unnoticed. I read it. Oh, there he is.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Silas, before you continue with your message, I just wanted to let you know that Lisa is in here. She put a message letting me know that you were gonna call me back. That it takes a few minutes once the system reboots, and then the other thing
Okay.
would be that this is gonna be our last call for the night, and then we'll probably, if you have time, we could continue on Sunday because tomorrow I'm not gonna be available, but I'll definitely be available on Sunday.
Okay. All right. Absolutely.
All right, and then the
All
mic's all
right.
yours.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks, Lisa. Love you. Um. Yeah. Uh. Where was I? I was talking about
Uh,
the
the sergeant
the
from the
law
Tehachapi.
being applied equally.
Oh no. So
Right.
I had mentioned to you that about cutting down or shutting down the shoes, and you said something about the tablet.
Oh, right. Right. So yeah, we got a notification, a memorandum. So the only way that you go to the hole now is for a violent offense, and not just like a one-on-one fight. It has to be like an assault. You know what I mean? Assault with like a battery with SBI or like a weapon or like you're not going to the hole anymore for like drug offenses. If you get knocked with some drugs and you just basically like get cited out and go back to your cell, like, which is, I think it's cool. I mean, hell, I just wish they had instituted this years ago. But then I was telling Jesse this the other day. I was telling him I wish this would have been around, back when we were at our wildest. And I thought for a second, and I said, well, I guess it wouldn't have really made that much a difference because we were violent offenders. We would have been in the hole either way.
Oh man.
Yeah, but there's definitely a lot of change taking place. I mean, definitely. I mean, it, it's really incredible. Like we really like at a flashpoint. We're really like at an inflection point in here, and I just want to see all of us take advantage of it. In a positive way, so that everybody can benefit. Because ultimately, if we do, then society benefits as well.
Yeah, no, yeah. We don't want you guys to come out worse than what you guys went in. At least with some job skills and some coping skills and how to deal with with people. That's definitely gonna help you out when you come home.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's what people in here deserve. I mean, a lot of people in here, they come from. I mean, I know people in here who grew up in foster homes, who suffered abuse, who, I mean, and make no mistake, that's no justification for anybody committing crimes in society. Absolutely not. You know, I think for me, the fascinating thing, is the why. I'm obsessed with the why. And once we get to the root of the why, then we can start figuring out some answers. So and that only happens in like a therapeutic environment. So, I mean, hopefully, what the future has in store is CDCR becoming a therapeutic environment as well as an educational, vocational hub.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, you know what? I just remembered I was supposed to continue with these questions that I had for you here, and we only made it down to question six. So yesterday we did three. Today we're up to three, so we're gonna go for the fourth one. At least get in four
Okay.
questions today. So the next question is gonna
Okay.
be, when was the last time you
This
cried?
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Next question is gonna be, when was the last time you cried in front of another person?
Oh wow. Uh, Jesse, Ricky, and I, we participated in forgiveness. The power of forgiveness is a one-day retreat where a facilitator came in. He actually flew out here from Colorado, and it was a really really heavy workshop. And yeah, all of us. I mean, it was a pretty safe environment, and all of us revealed like some really really heavy stuff, about our past and who we had to forgive, and I mean who we wanted to forgive, and just just kind of lay bare just all of the things from the past that we were trying to let go, and yeah, Jesse had went up and talked, and like he was talking, and I went to pieces while he was talking, and then I went up there and I fell apart again. um, it was cathartic. It was cathartic though, man. It was good. Like, I mean, not even 5 years ago you could ever convince me that I'd be in a room full of men in prison and crying. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that letting your emotions show is a form of weakness. I think it's powerful. I think it's power. Anybody who knows themselves and who's in touch with themselves, and you know, it, it's healing. It's cathartic. It was a cathartic experience for me, and I'm glad that I was there with my guys, with my brothers, and had an opportunity to share that experience with them. Definitely. But that was like I think it was in July or August.
And when you're in a setting like this, and you guys are obviously sharing uh, some traumatic or some memories that have affected you in one way or another, and you guys are sharing these stories. Um, once you share um, this trauma, how do you feel? Do you feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because we walk around, with this in our head, and on our hearts, and I mean, especially as men, like, no men, we don't we don't talk about, the things that are troubling us. We don't really hash out the heavy stuff. We just, it's like, just man up. Just, forget about it. I'm not working with feelings, and all of these different attitudes that we use, to compartmentalize and put stuff away. And when you can kind of let all of that stuff go and just be a human being, without the mask and all of the airs that we put on, and get in touch with what you're feeling, and why you're feeling, and it removes all of the roadblocks to realization, and being who you really are. So it's definitely a weight lifted.
Thank you for sharing that. The next question, I just read it, and I'm actually going to ask you two questions. when was the last time you cried in oh, I already read that one. Uh, would you like to be famous, and in what way? And then the question I just thought about, reading off this question is: have you ever done time with somebody that's famous or semi-famous or somewhat famous?
Um, I was, let's see, two, three. I was in Corcoran Shoe right next door to Charles Manson. I've seen him like four. I saw him like four times when I was there in Sirhan. I was locked up in Salinas Valley on CR with Trey D. He was in the group the Eastsiders, the group that
Yeah.
Snoop brought out.
Yeah. Yeah.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I also was in the county jail down the hall, and I went to visit with him like three times with Robert Blake, the actor from the old actor from Beretta that was
Yeah.
locked up for killing his wife. He actually beat the case. He killed her out there where I'm from in the valley, actually, like right off of Ventura. Well, allegedly, he was alleged to have killed her. I ain't trying to get sued by nobody. But yeah. But yeah, I saw him like three or four times in the county jail, so that'd probably be like the, I guess, famous people.
Man, you know what?
Would
Hold on.
I like to be famous?
I want to say something really quick. I thought you were going to tell me that you were locked up with one of the Bone Thugs in Harmony, because one you remember. I don't know if you remember, but there was one of them that had went through the system and through LA County Jail right around that time.
Yeah, he was like on the lower yard. He was on the lower. I was up there with the big boys. Oh, yeah, during that time I was on CR in Salinas Valley. Yeah, there was no way I'd be able to see him.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't. Would I like to be famous? I wouldn't want to be famous. I I'm I'm in. I told I told Lisa the other night, like, I'm an introvert masquerading as an extrovert. Like, I'm notoriously shy. Like, I can do this, but I don't think I mean I'm versed in public speaking, but I I wouldn't like to be famous. Fame is just essentially popularity, and I'm not concerned with being popular. I'd like to be wealthy. I want generational wealth. I'd love to be wealthy, so you can give me the money and you can keep the fame. You can be popular. Just give me the money. Give me the currency, and I'll be someone who fades away into obscurity with my money. I'll be like Bill Gates walking around in sandals and some Docker shorts like a beach bum with a crazy bank account. I don't care about being famous.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I was talking to my wife recently about that. I was like, like if this YouTube thing takes off, I don't want people to recognize me or know who I am. I'd rather, uh, like, yeah, I want people to listen to the conversations, but if I'm out like somewhere, I don't want people to come up to me and be like, "Hey, aren't you the guy from?" Yeah, nah, I'm straight. I'm okay with that. With
Yeah, like, I mean, seriously, I mean, think about like what fame does to people, what, and the things that people do. I mean, we're living in a time in history now where people want to be famous so bad that they'll settle for infamy. You know what I mean? Like for just one moment of just, hey, remember my name. I mean, people are doing like really really weird shit in the name of fame. It's just outlandish and just bizarre. The moment where we're at right now, everyone wants to be a star. Like, everyone is a star. The star of their own show. I mean, it's it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't. I'm having none of it. I don't want it.
you know what? Right now that you say that, it, the, it seems like all these young kids, well, not even young kids, because there's some adults that do it too. They're out committing crimes and they're live streaming it, running people off their bikes, shootings, doing.
Yeah, I saw those two kids that did that. I saw that. I think it was on TMZ. Like, and isn't that like, and not to, and let me preface this by saying I do not support criminality or of any kind, um, any longer. But isn't that counterintuitive if someone is attempting to commit a crime? The number one objective
You have 60 seconds remaining.
is to avoid detection.
Yeah, yeah. That's rule number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
But
get it.
man, it's been real, man. It's always a pleasure, James, and thank you guys, everybody out there, for listening. We really appreciate your support.
Absolutely, I really appreciate Silas taking the time out of his day. Probably gonna lose a few hours of sleep, and you guys also, for tuning in and listening. Yeah, I know you guys got plenty of other options of other YouTubers you guys could listen to, and it's a real honor you guys taking time out of your day to listen to us.
I second that.
All right, then.
So
So
this is the midnight edition. If you have a collect call from.
there it is. Yeah, yeah. That the Friday. I think I named it like the Friday night prison phone call. All right, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. You guys go ahead and have a good night, and we'll be back on most likely on Sunday.